I'm recording this video with permission from Scholastic. Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be reading, let me check, it's hard to keep track. We're going to be starting the fourth book of the, that's embedded in the Tale of Despereaux. It's called Recalled to the Light. And this is chapter 34 is what we're starting with. Now, if you remember last time we wrapped up with Marguerite when we learned that she came encounter with the jailer and Roscoe and kind of realized, remember we left off with these mouse-like noises and this napkin moving, and they didn't really notice what it was, but we thought maybe it would be like tying back to Despereaux. So last time I asked you guys to make a prediction about who you thought this next chapter would be about. So I want you to recall whatever that was. If you didn't make a prediction, now is the time to see if that prediction is correct. So this chapter, or this book, I guess it's not a chapter, is called Recalled to the Light. And this chapter is called Kill 'em, Even If They's Already Dead. Reader, you did not forget about our small mouse, did you? Back to the light. That was what Gregory whispered to him when he wrapped Despereaux in his napkin and placed him on the tray. And then Meg, after the conversation with Roscoe, carried the tray into the kitchen, and when she saw Cook, she shouted, "It's me, Marguerite, back up from the deep downs." "Ah, lovely," said Cook. "And ain't we all relieved?" Meg put the tray on the counter. "Here, here," said the cook. "Your duties ain't done. You must clear it." "How's that?" shouted Meg. "You must clear the tray," shouted Cook. She reached over and took the napkin and gave it a good shake, and Despereaux tumbled out of the napkin and landed right directly, plop, in the measuring cup full of oil. "Hack!" said the cook. "A mouse in my kitchen, in my cooking oil, in my measuring cup. You, Meg, kill him directly." Meg bent her head and looked at the mouse slowly, sinking to the bottom of the glass cup. "Poor little micey," she said, and she stuck her hand into the oil and pulled him out by his tail. Despereaux, gasping and coughing and blinking at the bright light, could have wept with the joy at his rescue, but he was not given the time to cry. "Kill him!" shouted the cook. "Of course," said Meg. "All right." Holding Despereaux by the tail, she went to get the kitchen knife. But the mouse tail, covered as it was in oil, was slick and difficult to hold on to, and Meg reached for the knife, loosening her grip, and Despereaux fell to the floor. Meg looked down at the little bundle of brown fur. "Gosh," she said, "that's killed him for sure." "Kill him even if he's already dead," shouted the cook. "That's my philosophy, mice. If they're alive, kill 'em. If they're dead, kill 'em. That way you can be certain of having yourself a dead mouse, which is the only kind of mouse to have." So this is just kind of clarifying how much the humans in this story, except maybe Princess P, really do not like mice. "That's some good philosophy, that is. Kill him, even if he's already dead." "Hurry, you cauliflower ear fool," shouted Cook. "Hurry!" Despereaux lifted his head from the floor. The afternoon sun was shining through the large kitchen window. He had time to think how miraculous the light was, and then it disappeared, and Meg's face loomed into view. She studied him, breathing through her mouth. "Little micey," she said, "ain't you going to skedaddle?" Despereaux looked for a moment into Meg's small, concerned eyes, and then there came a blinding flash and the sound of metal moving through the air as Meg brought the kitchen knife down, down, down. Despereaux felt a very intense pain in his hindquarters. He leaped and up and into action. Reader, he scurried. He scurried like a professional mouse. He zigged to the left. He zigged to the right. "Gore!" shouted Meg. "Missed him!" "Ain't that a surprise?" said the cook, just as Despereaux scurried under the crack in the pantry door. "I got the little micey's tail, though," said Meg. She bent over and picked up Despereaux's tail and held it up, proudly displaying it to the cook. So it looks like Meg was able to kind of cut off Despereaux's tail, but that's all she could get. It's pretty gross. "So," shouted Cook, "what good will that do when the rest of him has disappeared into the pantry?" "I don't know," said Meg, and she braced herself as Cook advanced upon her, intending to give her a good clout to the ear. "I don't know." Here's our picture of Despereaux's tail getting chopped off. It's pretty gross, but I'm glad that Despereaux was able to survive. We're going to read on to chapter 35 because we have time and I want to make sure we can get through this book. This chapter is called The Knight in Shining Armor. Despereaux was pondering the reverse of that question. He was wondering not what he would do with his tail, but what he would do without it. He was sitting on a bag of flour high atop a shelf in the pantry, crying for what he had lost. The pain in his hindquarters was intense, and he wept because of it. But he also cried because he was happy. He was out of the dungeon. He had been recalled to life. His rescue had happened just in time for him to save the Princess P from the terrible fate that the rat had planned for her. So Despereaux wept with joy and with pain and with gratitude. He wept with exhaustion and despair and hope. He wept with all the emotions a young, small mouse who had been sent to his death and then been delivered from it in time to save his beloved can feel. Reader, the mouse wept. And then he lay down on a sack of flour and slept. Outside the castle, the sun set and the stars came out one by one, and they disappeared and gave way to the rising sun, and still Despereaux slept. And while he slept, he dreamt. He dreamt of stained glass windows in the dark of the dungeon. In Despereaux's dream, the light came to life, brilliant and glorious, in the shape of the knight swinging a sword. The night fought the dark. And the dark took many shapes. First the dark was his mother, uttering phrases in French, and then the dark became his father, beating the drum. The dark was Furlough, wearing a black hood and shaking his head no, and the dark became a huge rat, smiling a smile that was evil and sharp. The dark, Despereaux cried, turning his head to the left. The light, he murmured, turning his head to the right. He called out to the night. He shouted, "Who are you? Will you save me?" But the night did not answer him. "Tell me who you are," Despereaux shouted. The knight stopped swinging his sword. He looked at Despereaux. "You know me," he said. "No," said Despereaux, "I don't." "You do," said the knight. He slowly took the armor off his head and revealed nothing, no one. The suit of armor was empty. "Oh, no, no," said Despereaux. "There is no knight in shining armor. It's all just make-believe, like Happily Ever After." And in his sleep, reader, the small mouse began to cry. So we did learn that this chapter is going to be focusing on Despereaux, or this section of the book is going to be focusing on him. And Despereaux just had this realization. He was dreaming, and he's still been chasing after Princess P and thinking that this fairy tale is going to come true. And he kind of realized in this dream, when the knight took off his helmet, it was in a dream, but there was no knight at all. It was just empty, because Despereaux's realizing that, like, happily ever afters aren't so guaranteed, and kind of this dream that he's been chasing after isn't quite a reality. So that's why he's crying at the end. So stay tuned for our next video, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.